I just hung up the phone with an official from Mayor Slay's office, and I did learn that this happened sometime within the 9 o'clock hour. That's when we learned about it. And I'm told that there was an inmate inside the Justice Center right behind me that apparently jumped from the second floor to the first floor. Tonight, neighbors say one of those 2-year-old twin boys is now recovering at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Deputies confirm that that child is now in critical condition. Officer Michael Baxton Jr. arrived here at St. Louis University Hospital sometime before 3:30 this afternoon. We were also here when East St. Louis Police Chief Michael Flory arrived to check on Officer Baxton. Chief Flory tells me that Baxton Jr. is in critical but stable condition. The chief confirmed that Baxton was shot on the left side of his face but is conscious and talking. Over the past few months, we've been keeping you updated on the story of Matthew Quain. He's a South St. Louis man who was attacked by a group of teens while walking home. Recently, charges were dropped against those teens, and Quain says since that's happened, he was harassed during a second encounter with some of those same individuals. Tonight, many of those crews are still on the scene of a sad loss for one community. The fire raced through a VFW hall, and there wasn't much firefighters could do to stop it. The name of the game tonight for many of these residents who had homes that were damaged was to collect as many things as possible, get out of Dodge before the sun set and before that 6 o'clock curfew tonight. And I can tell you, the Saline County State's Attorney is saying that anyone who is found looting tonight or here on out will be prosecuted to the fullest extent. Right now, 2 men are behind bars accused of scamming an 89-year-old Florissant man out of thousands of dollars. Eugene O'Neill and Lawrence Van, both of St. Louis, are charged with felony stealing. Police say they approached the victim outside the Grandview Schnucks and tricked him into withdrawing $5,000 from his bank account. That shooting happened just before 4 this afternoon at Dallas's Union Station. 3 people were shot, and members of one St. Louis family tell me they're happy to be headed home tonight. As you can see, the back wall of this building actually collapsed. We've learned more tonight about a man found dead inside a burning home in North St. Louis County. The Overland Police Department says the 58-year-old man lived at the home. And it's a bird, it's a plane, or how about it's a bird on a plane? Apparently, the bird, or possibly bat, got into a Delta Airlines flight from Madison, Wisconsin to Atlanta. Mike Schmidt says he fell asleep during the early morning flight and was woken up by a scream, then saw the unidentified flying object go by that's inside the cabin that you're looking at. It was finally trapped in the restroom. The airline says they searched the entire plane after the flight and couldn't find the animal, so they don't know for sure if it was a bird or a bat.
They couldn't find it?
Pretty scary.
Where did it go?
Maybe it went down the toilet. I don't know. It was trapped in the bathroom. He just insisted that to bring it over here. If you drop this thing,
well, look at it.
It's going to be on.
When I picked this up, there was a gasp throughout the newsroom like this was a newborn baby, and I needed to be so careful with it.
Because we're all waiting to taste it. We don't want you to drop it. This is very delicate.
How about a pie in the face? What would that be like?
Yes, you would ruin this pie. Don't do that. Police say the man who shot that arrow was a neighbor practicing archery in his backyard more than 300 feet away. And relatives of that great-grandmother tell me they're upset that this neighbor didn't have any regard for the families around him. 80-year-old Margaret Schaffner is all stitched up now and a bit swollen. This morning, she was sitting in this kitchen when an arrow came through the window, piercing her face.
I saw something out of my eye, and it was black, and I reached up and I pulled it out. I still not knowing what it was, but it was the arrow, and it was in my face.
Schaffner tells me she was babysitting for her grandson, enjoying a chocolate donut, when the arrow came crashing in around 8:30.
Who would have thought an arrow was going to come into your house and hit you?
Schaffner says she managed to clean herself up, and once her grandson returned home about an hour later, the police were called.
When the officers did a neighborhood canvass, they discovered this resident in his backyard. He was still back there shooting.
26-year-old Robert Joyner was arrested and charged with assault and armed criminal action.
He didn't think that his arrow could go that far, so didn't feel it, he was really responsible.
Police say the arrow came from the other side of this wooded area and actually penetrated through these 2 panes of glass and landed in Schaffner's mouth.
It came down from an angle like this, went through her upper lip, lodged into her jaw, busting out some teeth.
Am I mad? Yes. No, I think I'm very lucky. Could have been my eyes. Could have been my chest. So, yeah, I feel like I'm lucky.
And St. John police tell me there is an ordinance in place here that can result in fines and even jail time for those who are found to have shot bows and arrows here in town. But I'm told that that ordinance pales in comparison to the 2 felonies Joyner is now facing. Reporting live in St. John, Courtney Gousman, News Channel 5. The death of Sarah Billingsley Walker comes a little more than a week after her 18th birthday, and everyone I talked to today tells me she was a rising star, which makes this tragedy even more tragic. By all accounts, 18-year-old Sarah Billingsley Walker was a stellar student. She was not only homecoming queen at Vashon High School, but was the school's co-valedictorian, a member of the National Honor Society, and was on the dance team.
Popular student, very well known. She had a very, very bright future ahead of her.
But St. Louis police say that all came to a sudden end Monday. Inside this home in the 3700 block of North 21st Street, they found Sarah dead. Investigators say they found no visible signs of trauma, but believe the teen died sometime between noon and 9 p.m. Monday. Police aren't saying why Sarah was at this home or who she was with. And back in Sarah's Wellston neighborhood, residents are saddened.
It was just unexpected. I didn't understand what happened or whatever. I don't know still don't know what happened.
Oh, I was shocked. I was so shocked. And it kind of moved my spirit because of how good of a kid she was.
Neighbors say Sarah lived here with her mother, stepfather, and brother, and every morning she would catch the public bus into St. Louis to get to school. Members of Sarah's church tell me she sang in the choir and often helped kids with their homework.
She always caught her studying or just sitting on the front reading a book or something like that. And, you know, she was never a type of kid that was on drugs or alcohol or anything like that. She was a good kid.
Neighbors say if Sarah wasn't studying, most times she was tagging along with her mother. Counselors will be on hand at Vashon High School for students and staff. District officials tell me that Sarah had been accepted to 4 colleges, and an autopsy was done on Sarah today, and police expect to release those results hopefully tomorrow. In St. Louis, Courtney Gousman, News Channel 5.
And they're all like, Robbie!
If you've had the chance to meet Robbie Small, you won't forget him. This 8th grader attends Columbia Middle School and considers himself an athlete, a bowler. His family tells me he's the life of the party, and Robbie gets around in a wheelchair, born with cerebral palsy. He tells me Thursday was a day out of the ordinary.
I just went to school like a normal day, not a care in the world.
And in the middle of lunch, Robbie tells me he began having a seizure.
My eye went back. I'm like, why here?
It was these 3 best friends also sitting in the lunchroom with Robbie who realized something was wrong. Kaylee Bashton, Taryn Pena, and Caitlin Touche tell me they all reacted at the same time.
We kind of all heard a little, like a sound coming out of him, like a squeal or something, and we turned around, and I thought he was choking at first.
Robbie's classmates got the attention of school officials, and an ambulance was called.
So it wasn't pronounced, and they detected that.
Yeah.
And had they not, the ambulance would not have been called in time, and he ended up having a grand mal seizure
in
the ambulance.
Robbie spent the night in a hospital and has been enjoying this tremendous outpouring of support from his classmates since. Robbie's parents tell me seizures are rare for their son, and they're thankful the school took swift action with these 3 girls getting the ball rolling.
I really want these kids recognized. You know, they should get an award or something, because that's great.
I'm glad they knew. I'm glad there were some people who keep an eye out.
It's bad enough for a college student to be placed on academic suspension. What would make it worse is for the whole world to find out.
I personally am mad because that's my information.
Ben Kimbrough is a freshman at Lindenwood University, and he's one of dozens of students whose names, GPAs, and even cell phone numbers got posted on Twitter. Kimbrough is one of 184 students on Lindenwood's fall semester suspension list, a list made public by someone behind the Twitter handle Linden Leaks. In fact, I used this list to track down Ben and informed him of the breach. I called you out of the blue. You don't know me. I have your cell phone now.
That's scary because, like I said, anybody can find that list right now.
Officials with Lindenwood University tell me the suspension list was kept in their academic services office, which handles all records. They say the file was on a secure drive. How did this information get out?
Well, we're investigating that.
The university has since notified the students on the list of the breach and suspects a student is behind the prank. Other students are firing back on Twitter at whoever is responsible. Katie Anderson writes, "You're ridiculous. What's worse is that you don't even care that you've hurt people. Heinous."
We're taking steps to keep this from happening again. We don't know what this individual, what information that they possess.
Don't look at it. It's private business for certain people. They don't want it out in the public, and it's their right to tell people that they were suspended, nobody else's.
Now, just for a frame of reference, there are 17,000 students that attend school here in Lindenwood, and Lindenwood University officials tell me they have reached out to Twitter to have that actual tweet removed as well as the account associated with it, but at last check, it was still online. Reporting live at Lindenwood University in St. Charles City, Courtney Gousman, News Channel 5. Back in July, 7 area teens came here inside the St. Clair County Jail, where they came face to face with a number of inmates who may very well have changed their life. And now their encounters are being documented on cable television.
Look down, look up, I'm like her, I'm the real up in her.
It's the show that uses in-your-face scare tactics to reach out to troubled teens, and it's done from the other side of these bars. Beyond Scared Straight is now in its second season on A&E with an episode shot inside St. Clair County's jail, airing Thursday night.
Oh, you like fight? I want you to hold this for me. Here, hold this. This Kool-Aid. We put this on like you.
That tough talker is Michael Wills of Cahokia. He tells me he's been in and out of this jail more than 30 times, mostly for stealing to support his drug habit. Now he uses his life story to open the eyes of problem kids.
Their parents would call me out on a visit and be like, "I don't know what you said to my son, but thank you."
And then there's 19-year-old Danielle Washington of East St. Louis, in for first-degree murder. She was 5 months pregnant when she came here. She's now giving advice.
I enjoy doing it. It's just a joy to my life. And it makes me smile in a place like this.
Even before producers of this hit show came calling, these inmates were participating in the jail's Scared Straight program, which attempts to rehab troubled teens. Captain Matthew Scott tells me some of the teens from this episode were stealing, fighting, and even skipping school. By the time they wrapped their day-long visit, many were in tears.
Several of the kids have changed significantly, doing better in school, showing respect to their parents, teachers.
I also talked to the show's executive producer, and he says this episode is one of his favorites of the season. So much so, Scott tells me the show's crew is already making plans for a second visit. This hour-long episode of Beyond Scared Straight airs Thursday night on A&E at 9 p.m. To find out more information about the Scared Straight program here at the St. Clair County Jail, log on to our website at ksdk.com. In St. Clair County, Courtney Gousman, News Channel 5.